into a closet and doesn't feed them for multiple days and they end up dying, do you believe that that's murder?
I don't want to put more value on certain human lives, but at the same time, it's like you have a living woman.
If you take it one step further and go really disgusting, necrophilia, that's still wrong even though the person's dead.
I think we should focus on, developing these programs and options, like having support from others.
I think that we should work on Gaza's adoption system before we try to tell them to end the war. Yeah?
You agree?
Pro-life?
I'm pro-choice.
Pro-choice. Oh.
No, I'd love to have a conversation though.
Oh, okay, cool, man. What's your name?
My name's Michael.
Michael Elijah. Nice to meet you, Michael.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I just came back from one of my friend's house.
Yeah.
Going back to the dorm,
Nice. What do you think?
Cool. So, I'm from Jersey. We're pretty blue state.
For sure.
And I just grew up seeing, not the best area, seeing some friends go through some teen pregnancies.
Sure.
And, they're having the option really help them save their life.
Okay.
Or in my opinion, save their life or help them at least, and
well,
carry the baby to full term.
Yeah, they would have had a difficult time with the pregnancy, but yeah. What's so? Do you believe that it's a human life, or?
I think, regardless of if it's a human life, I think it's too early to declare it a human life, like to put it over the woman's life. So, in my opinion, I think just inherently, like, the woman's life is more important than the fetus at the time that it is a fetus. And it's codependent on that.
And just to be clear, you're, like, important enough that you would say that a woman can at will choose to,
up until it's viable outside of that.
Okay, so you believe in viability?
Yeah.
Okay, so a 1-year-old, I have a 1-year-old right now, and if I didn't take care of him, he wouldn't survive.
Yeah, completely. No,
so he's not viable.
And not so much viable, like, you
what
have
do you
other
think?
Options, like you have adoption, you have these other cares you can go.
Right.
In that terms of viability, yes, but the baby wouldn't be able to survive outside of the mother's fetus. That's what I'm.
Yeah, and I guess my point is that so the mother is providing nourishment from her body, right?
Yeah.
So outside of the womb, we have to provide nourishment to children, or else they're going to die.
Yeah, but in that case, it's more of, I don't want to say a choice, but it's a group of people who can do it, right? So you have an organization or like.
Well, do you believe in neglect laws? So like if a parent puts their child into a closet and doesn't feed them for multiple days and they end up dying, do you believe that that's murder?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd be for neglect laws. So you would be for laws that say a parent has a special obligation to their child to take care of their child.
Yes.
So why does that not apply in the womb?
Because it's not, it's not, I don't know how to just like.
Yeah, so
it's not viable as our. Is they now able to survive on its own without being forced or unwilling, like in this? You know what I'm saying?
What I'm telling you is that the same exact thing applies to a born person, is that they're not able to survive without nourishment from their parents, and neglect laws are in place specifically to say that a parent has an obligation to their child. And then the other thing I'll point out is you mentioned human life and when it begins. If you Google when does human life begin, Google, and by the way, I don't know if you know, but Google is not exactly right wing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar, but it'll tell you conception. So what it is, the fetus is a human in fetal stage of development. So like from conception, it's a human. So therefore, what I would say, my position is that murder is the unjustified taking of innocent human life, and premeditated as well. And so abortion, just by that definition alone, the baby's innocent, they haven't done anything wrong. Abortion is, the CDC definition is to go in and kill the baby to prevent a live birth. So by those definitions, abortion is murder. So you said even if it is a human life, you think she should still have...
Yes, because I think, I don't want to put more value on certain human lives, but at the same time, it's like you have a living woman who's, at least, let's say 18 just a given number.
Okay.
They have a life, they have things going on for them. The fetus has a future, right? It has a potential future, right? And I'm just curious, are you proposing complete abolition of abortion. So in all
For
cases,
sure. Yeah, in all cases.
So when you have incest, underage,
Yeah.
or rape.
So what I find is that when I have conversations with pro-choicers, in which I appreciate you talking to me, man, but it's usually you're using that as an argument to justify, which sounds like you are, abortion up to, according to you, like viability.
Yeah. Well, no, that's just sort of. I'm just out of curiosity, you know, like what would you?
Yeah. So,
you know, like how would you deal with that sort of?
oh, sure. If you're just asking, man, I can tell you. So what I would say again is that imagine if your father committed a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be punished for the crime of your father?
No.
So, in the case of rape, what is it? It's the child, and his or her father has committed a crime.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
so. Why punish the child for the sins of their father?
Because you can look at it in the inverse, right? So it's the mother. The mother now has to bear on this child for 9 months, unwillingly.
Right.
You know, why should she have to take on the crime, or
because there's two humans involved. And the other thing I'll add on to that really quick is we always talk about what to do with the baby in the cases of rape, but what should happen for the rapist?
Prison.
Prison? I think they should be put to death.
Isn't that counterintuitive?
No.
Like, isn't that?
No.
Isn't that?
Because murder is the premeditated taking of innocent human life. Yeah. So when the government executes someone, that's not innocent human life. Those people have been proven guilty. Yes, they get it wrong. Yeah, sure. But I'm talking about, in the cases where they know 100% this is what happened. Those people should be put to death. The rapist should be put to death, not the baby. And so what I'm hearing you argue for is, because we already established human life begins at conception. 96% of biologists agree that human life begins at conception.
I don't have a set definition, yes. I'm just not. That aspect of it isn't as pressing or more important in my opinion to me, just because I've seen it. And, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, we love abortion. Oh, we want to go, kill fetuses, but at the same time, it's like, with the way things are right now, there's not enough support for the mothers outside of, when they're pregnant. Once they have the baby, it's kind of like they're put on their own.
Poverty and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't think poverty is a reason to. I don't think we should go kill homeless people.
No,
and they're poor. Right.
I'm saying, why subject the child to homelessness?
Why subject the child to being murdered?
They don't know they're being murdered.
They don't know they're being murdered?
No, they're not conscious of being murdered.
If a man rapes a woman who is completely unconscious and unaware that she's being raped, is that still wrong? And should he still be punished for that?
Completely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so then you can harm another person even though they're not conscious, and you can still do wrong to a person, and even if you take it one step further and go really disgusting, necrophilia, that's still wrong even though the person's dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in that case, the person's dead, and you're defiling their body.
Yeah.
And in the case of abortion, that human is alive and growing and receiving sustenance. And what are you doing? You're taking RU486 into the body in order to kill that baby, or you're in the third trimester having forceps go up and rip the baby apart limb from limb. So I guess where along the line is that
it's I don't know, I just see it as I've seen it around me. I think that as long as we should focus on developing these programs and options, like having support for mothers, and then obviously I'm not supporting abortion. It's definitely not a good thing. It's not something that's okay. Sorry, I'm supporting abortion, but I'm not saying abortion's good. It's the last thing you want. I've had friends who've gone through it. They hate it. It's terrible, but they have to do it for themselves, because if they choose to bear that child, their whole life stops. They're in school. They can't go to school anymore. They have to support a child. There's no adoption.
My wife has given birth to 3 children. It's 9 months. Yes, that's difficult. But here's the thing. So I think part of your argument is you have this empathy for other people, right? And you've seen people in your life, and you've had empathy for them because they then made a decision to murder their child because of the difficulty that they might encounter or whatever, right? But where's your empathy for the child?
I've never had the empathy for the fetus, just because I just don't see it as important of a life as a mother.
So you disagree with you as important of a life as a mother is what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay. So some humans are worth less than others based on their size?
In this instance, yes. In my opinion.
So why shouldn't we be able to kill midgets?
Because they are like conscious living beings that are outside of like living on their own, being able to grow.
But we already established that conscious is not enough to. Being conscious is not still not a standard of right and wrong.
It's a very like, you know, in with this sort of issue, it's a very like, you know, you can run like circles around like, oh, this, that. But I think, you know, it's more important to just focus on, you know, supporting the mother, supporting the baby outside of life, and obviously, you know, get those abortion numbers down so that we don't have to turn to abortion.
Well, what would get abortion numbers down is if it was illegal and criminalized.
I don't think so, because, you know, then you have a legal abortion, then you have people traveling, like, you know, you see in states where they have a legalized abortion, you have people who I have friends like who were here, because I'm from Jersey, I'm not from here. I've had friends who were here who have plans to go to other states prior to the abortion being legalized, I'm pretty sure. Right? I don't know.
So abortion is actually legal in all 50 states. Women have complete immunity. But if you go and you slip your girlfriend RU486 while she is pregnant, you will be charged with murder.
RU486 is that?
RU486 is a abortifacient. It's a pill that you take that kills the baby and discards it from the womb. And we don't have the picture, but there's a picture of that child, you know, 10, 12 weeks old, and it's a human, man. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. The difference is size, the difference is location, and all of those all these arguments can be made about born people, and there's no justification for that. And so what I would further challenge you on is like, where is right and wrong? How can you even define right and wrong?
You can't. It's very, you know, subject by subject, like base to base. It's not. There's no, you know, objective right. There's no objective wrong. With these
is that true? Is that objectively true? It's objectively true that there's no objective right or wrong?
I would say so. Yeah. I don't think that you can definitively say this is right, this is wrong in any instance, really. Like,
so you can't definitively say that rape is wrong?
No. Okay. Well, see, certain instances like that, yes, correct. But in a lot of these cases, like this, it's like the world.
So there is right and wrong.
There is, yes.
So we just moved from there is no objective right and wrong to now there is.
There's right and wrong in some instances, but a lot of the times it's not just black and white. You have to
where does that right and wrong come from? So now,
what do you mean right?
Where does objective right and wrong come from?
In these extreme cases, like you just said, like rape, that is wrong. In all cases, that is wrong.
Yeah, but where does that come from? What standard? By what standard is that objectively true? So I agree with you. So society is where that objective standard comes from. So then you would have been standing alongside the slave owners who owned black slaves when the majority of society said that was okay, and you would have been saying yes, it's okay because society thinks it's okay.
Because you can't ask me that question because I'm in this society. Like I've existed around.
Oh, sure I can. Yeah. Let's just put you back. It's a hypothetical. Put you back in that time. So you would support that.
It's just twisting my words.
No.
Support slavery. Like
it's not twisting your words.
I don't support slavery, but
okay, good. I don't either.
I'm not going to. Perfect. There we go. You agree on that? I just say it's like if you live in this like.
But the point is that you pointed to the standard for right and wrong as being societal.
Yes.
And I showed you that there's a society where enslaving and dehumanizing black people was okay.
Okay. And
that was widely accepted.
Yeah.
But you and I both know that that's wrong.
So with this scenario, I've been presented this before. It's like. I see it as you have to observe it. You can't put yourself in those shoes because you will never be able to. Like, you know, understanding where things are. We're just in such a different era, technological evolution with all this stuff. And you look back, you put yourself there. You can't say they're right or wrong. That's just how things work. Obviously you can say it's wrong, but.
Whoa! You just contradicted yourself. You just said obviously you can say they're wrong, and then you just said
from our point of view,
you can't say right or wrong.
But in that scenario, that's just the history.
Okay, so you can't say they're right or wrong.
You can't say they're right or wrong. No.
you can't say with 100% certainty that
we
dehumanizing.
can say it's right or wrong
Why?
because because we have different standards.
Because our standard is defined by society.
Yes. That's what we're getting at.
Because so if society said that rape was okay, you would be on board.
I wouldn't be on board because our society isn't.
Because there is right and wrong. Because there is objective truth.
Because there's both objective truth and there's both not objective truth. You can't just apply like.
So we went from there's no objective truth to now there's both.
Well, because I said like in extreme cases, sure, there is right and wrong. But
Okay.
a lot of the time, it's not as simple as just this is this is that. You know. Do you believe it? Everything
by what standard?
Right or wrong?
What standard are you saying that?
What do you mean
by?
his standard? Like when you look at.
I mean, so you're making a statement. You're saying that there is no. First, you said there's no right and wrong. Then I said there's rape, and that revealed, okay, yes, there is objective right and wrong, right?
Yeah, I think it's right.
And then I asked you why, and you said societal.
Mm-hmm.
But I've shown you, and there's that society, and then there's other societies that are okay with cannibalism, right? Is cannibalism okay? Or is that objectively wrong?
Okay, but I can't go and say to someone living
That's
in
so
like
absurd, though.
community.
So
I
now,
don't think so. I mean,
yeah, it is.
I just think it's how things are. It's how things like people
So-
work. People, you can't say to someone who's living a completely different life than you, oh, you're wrong, I'm right, because then you have hierarchies and you have people who are.
Okay,
less
you
than.
can't say to a pedophile that they're right.
Well, living here, yes,
Or
I
wrong.
yes.
You can't say to a pedophile that they're wrong.
Pedophile is completely right.
No, you
Like,
can't.
You can,
According to their own morality,
living in
they're
our
doing what they
society-
think is okay.
Living in even anywhere in the world, really.
Okay, societal. Okay, then we go back to Jews and African Americans.
Okay.
You know, Nazi Germany. Do you think that was wrong?
That was wrong. Yes. That was wrong.
Why? By what standard?
Is just these are word games?
No. It's not. It's not a
I
word
feel like
game.
these are word games.
What's,
No,
no.
because-
Let me explain. Let me
Yeah,
explain.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let me explain. So this is what I'm trying to get you to understand: is that there is objective truth.
Yes, I agree.
And you know in your heart that rape is wrong. You know in your heart that murder is wrong. You know in your heart that theft is wrong.
Yeah.
You know in your heart that if I go and mow this grass, that's totally different than if I go mow over a bunch of people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, probably.
Pro-
Yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
I just-
Yeah, well, but so you're laughing about it because you know it's absurd.
Yeah.
And in Romans 1, it says that the law of God is written on every single person's heart. So I can explain that, and I can say that there are societies where they have ignored the truth of God's word, and they have seared their conscience to the problems that are occurring around them, like this, and they have seared their conscience to the point where they say that it's okay, but still their conscience is convicting them. Still their soul says that this is wrong, that the law of God is written on their heart, that they still recognize that black people are humans, they still recognize that Jews are humans, they deserve life, and today I would even say in this conversation, I would even say that you know that this is a human life and that it should be protected. And
It
so
doesn't look like a human to me, honestly. Like the picture doesn't look like a human. I don't think it's a human life.
there are some really ugly people out there, man. I bet you would.
That's fair. Yeah, I see that. But I don't know. I agree. There are some-
But see, so but you see, like I'm not trying to beat you up, but what I am trying to show you is your inconsistencies of your inconsistency of saying that the societal standard is what makes right or wrong. It doesn't. It just simply doesn't. If I go across the ocean and I go into a cannibalistic tribe and they cannibalize one another, and I stand up and I defend someone from getting cannibalized and I shoot somebody or whatever, right? Then that is good that I'm defending that person. That is objectively, morally a good thing that I've stopped that person from being cannibalized,
yeah.
right?
It's just so.
if you don't-
with this whole thing, I'm not as prepared, as you.
It's okay.
Obviously, I'm not as established in my own thoughts, my own ideas. I'm more of just like a learner.
Yeah, I appreciate you
Obviously,
talking
I
to
have
me.
ideas about certain things like abortion, and just because of my experience, just because of what I've seen, and obviously, I'm not here saying I want abortion. Ideally, if we can get to a world where we can abolish abortion, that is amazing, right? But at the end of the day, is you have people like rapists, you have incels, you have things like this where it just doesn't make sense to keep the child alive, right? And I just like.
Well, that's your opinion, but the the pedophile's opinion is that he should be able to have intercourse with children. You know, and like how can you tell him that he's right or wrong? No, I don't know. How can you tell?
I don't know.
That's his. Maybe he's in a.
That's not a question.
Maybe he's in a pedophile society.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean.
But you know, see, but that's the thing. And so Romans 1 goes on to say that we suppress that truth in unrighteousness. So it says that we know these things and we know God, and we suppress that truth in unrighteousness. That we actively work to stop thinking inside of ourselves that murder is wrong, that all these different things are wrong, right? And that we exchange the truth of God for a lie. And so I would say, man, you know that objective truth exists because you know that God exists. And you know that objective morality exists for the same reason. You know?
Yeah. I'm not religious.
Sure.
Different
Okay.
religion, established religion. But honestly, not my issue, not my topic, because it doesn't pertain to me. Obviously, I don't think I should have the voice or a stronger voice than women, just because the woman is the one going through it.
But you were in the womb.
I was in the womb completely, but that doesn't mean that I'm never going to be bearing a child, right? They have to go through the 9 months of bearing a child, and it's not something easy. It's not something.
I've never been a pedophile.
I hope so.
I can say pedophilia is wrong.
Oh yeah, completely. But I mean, it's different. I don't know. I just don't think it's.
I've never murdered somebody.
I don't think it's my topic enough to do it, because I just don't see the fetus being as important as I am. You know, end of it. That's just how I grew up. That's how I see it. And
have you murdered someone?
Not that I know of.
Good.
Not that I know of. So.
Okay, that's good.
I just messed around. Yeah, I did.
Okay, so if you haven't murdered anyone, how could you say murder is wrong?
And this brings up to what I was saying before. Murder, like, would you murder for your family? If your family was in danger, would you murder? Murder?
No, I wouldn't murder. So again, murder is the premeditated, unjust taking of innocent human life. So if my family is in danger and somebody comes into my house and they're going to kill me, or kill my family, I would have no problem killing that person. But that's not murder. That's self-defense. There's a huge difference. The baby is not aggressing against the mother. The baby is being fed by the mother. The baby is being sustained by the mother. But again, that comes back to the neglect laws thing, is that parents have a duty to take care of their children.
I just think we're in such a deep hole right now with the way things are, the wealth gaps, and the way poverty is around. It's just, we're not at the point where we can move to this topic of, get rid of abortion, because abortion's one of the biggest things that keeps.
Well, I mean, 1 million kids are dying every single year, and as far as the abortion thing goes, there's 20 waiting adoptive families for every one newborn child. There's like 2 million total right now.
Yeah, I think our adoption system's terrible. We need to work on that.
Well, yeah,
there's so many things that we need to address first.
But there's 2 million people who have accepted the fact that our adoption system's terrible and it costs a ton of money, but I'm going to do it anyways because I want to adopt a child.
Yeah,
and so. Just to your argument, just there is there are people waiting right now, ready to adopt,
and it's the system that isn't giving them the opportunity to adopt.
So the problem is in a moral relativist sense, where it seems like you're coming from, where morals are relative based on the culture and this sort of thing. It's like, well, I can see where you're coming from, where you're like, we gotta, we have to do these things in society to get to a point where we don't have abortions. The problem with that is we shouldn't just kill people just because they're going to have a bad life. We shouldn't just kill people just because there's injustices and inequalities or whatever, which, our society is messed up. But there's a lot of other societies that are much more messed up.
I mean, for being where we are as America, being one of the top countries, I think we just have so many systemic issues inside that are just take more focus or need more attention, you know, from our government. And, you know, this is one of those, I would say, like, later issues just because, you know, I don't think it's as relevant as, you know, the homeless problem where you have, like,
Do you think we should send money to Gaza before trying to end the war?
I think we should have voted for a permanent ceasefire.
Do you think we should? Well, my position is that I think that we should work on Gaza's adoption system before we try to tell them to end the war. Don't you? Well, I mean, there's these parents dying, so there's probably kids who don't have parents anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
so they probably need a good adoption system in Gaza.
But the war needs
in order for the no, I don't think the war needs to stop first. I think the adoption.
What are you playing at?
You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
You don't see what I'm getting at?
What are you playing at?
So I'm comparing two things, right? I'm saying there's a war going on in Gaza. People are dying, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying we should be working for the adoption system to get better because they're losing their parents. Their parents are dying.
Yeah.
And we'll just deal with the war second.
But that's not what I'm saying that the adoption systems, we're not in a war. I feel like a war, like, you know, trumps any sort of.
Yeah, but a million humans are dying every single year. And like I've gone to the abortion clinic, I've seen these women waddle out and get into their super nice cars and drive away.
I'm not supporting that. I don't agree with that.
Well, you do. You're pro-choice.
Well, yes, having the option to do that, I think it's up to them. But I don't personally support it. I feel like there should be. I'm not saying, you know.
So you think that it's wrong, but you don't think the government should punish
that scenario?
That.
Yes, I think that.
You don't think that?
Unless the mother was in danger, the mother couldn't go for something. Then sure, she could have carried. If she definitely was able to carry and support the child and support herself with a good, you know, base around her, then sure, she should carry the baby, right? But I'm saying in these instances where they can't support the baby, they can't support themselves, maybe their life is in danger, maybe like all these other factors, then yeah, you have the abortion as an option if there's no other way to, you know, mitigate the situation.
Well, the other way to look at that is Gaza's pretty poor. Maybe Israel's doing them a favor by just bombing them.
That's different. That's a genocide. They're not. I don't see these living beings. That's the, you know, core disconnect.